That's fucking amazing.
Without any comment, just fuck you, Kanye.
Welcome to Close Enough Podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jay. You're looking old.
Yeah, I'm feeling it, man. Back's killing me. You want to give me a massage?
Not particularly, no.
Oh, come on, man.
So, how old are you?
I am now 32.
32. Well, guess it's time to pack it all in.
They say, what is it, 50's over the hill? Nobody fucking lives to be 100. Yeah, I think I passed my over the hill. There's no way I'm living to be 60.
You gonna have your midlife crisis?
I'm working on it, trust me.
I had my midlife crisis when I was like 14.
What was that?
I bought a fancy bicycle.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I did my math wrong, because maybe I would have died at 28. But the world is not that lucky. But in honor of your birthday, I got you a drink.
You did.
I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Well, you told me not to bring a drink this week. So.
Told you not to bring a drink because I got your birthday settled here.
Wow, it's dark. Is it fucking blue?
It's blue. Alright, so we're all going to get ready for our little toast here.
Okay.
Don't try it yet. Don't smell it.
I'm not, I'm just
Put it down. Put it down.
What? Oh.
You're one of these assholes who shakes presents, aren't you?
No, actually I'm not.
Well, stop that then. If you know what it is, it's not a fucking surprise. A couple of listeners wrote in knowing it's your birthday. Dave in Virginia says, Happy 30-somethings, Mike. Don't you think it's about time you came out of the closet?
Speechless.
Do your parents know you're gay?
They know I'm not gay.
That's not the question I asked. William in Virginia says, Congrats on surviving this long, and cheers to the next 52.1775 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
And Tristan in Florida says, Life is short. Drink it up. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Down the hatch with your mystery liquor.
Prost. That's interesting.
What do you think, Mike?
I've never had that before. Whatever that is, it's actually got kind of heavy on the back end on the heat to it.
Heat, huh? You want another one?
Why the fuck?
It's magic liquor.
Okay, I'm confused right now. Why the fuck did that shit come out clear with the one I just drank is blue?
Because it's your birthday.
Okay.
This is birthday liquor.
Okay.
It's blue for if it's your birthday, and it's clear if it's not.
I know you're full of all kinds of shit. What the fuck are we going... What?
You watched me do that, right?
I watched you pour something with your back facing to me.
Oh, that's too bad. I wish you'd seen it. Give me your shot glass. Okay, so you watched me pour it out of this bottle, yes?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Science.
Science. Yeah.
So what do you think of it?
It's alright.
That's your birthday present.
I'm kind of confused right now still. What the fuck is going on with the blue shit?
Unwrap it. See what you got.
Pinnacle Habanero. Nice. No wonder it has that nice heat on it. That's crazy, dude. I love it.
So it is a habanero flavored vodka.
Yeah.
From France.
I don't like the French.
Yeah, well. Pinnacle's been pretty good, I've noticed, as far as the flavored vodkas have gone. Sometimes you get the ones you're like, wow, that's great. Then you realize you can't really do anything with it. Yeah. Like the birthday cake flavored one.
Yeah.
I think that's like birthday cake.
Nope. Take a couple shots. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah. This one is, I'm going to figure something out to do with this. I'm just not sure what. I'm still extremely curious as to why the fuck that turned out blue for me.
Because it's your birthday.
So if I take this shot and I pour myself another one, it will not come out blue.
Well, it depends on whether you do it correct or not. Give it a shot, see what happens. Science, bitch.
You've never even watched that show, have you?
No.
You just seen the memes?
I've seen enough of it that it works for me.
It's great. I do like it. That's funny. Yeah, I'll take another shot. Habanero vodka with something blue in it, because apparently that one was not blue. Still confused.
It's your birthday.
Whatever. Alright.
Don't think, just drink.
It doesn't taste like a habanero, but it definitely has the heat, which I actually like. That's interesting.
I figured you would.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You are welcome.
I appreciate that.
Happy birthday, Honks.
Have you tried it?
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm serious.
No, I'm not trying that shit.
You're not going to try it?
No, I'm not going to try it.
Why the fuck not? Hey, it's my birthday. I want you to try a shot of it with me.
Because I am a pepper pussy.
Oh, yeah. You can't eat ketchup.
Dude, fucking salt and pepper's too spicy for me.
Well, they were kind of rough back in the 90s.
Oh. Get out of my house.
Anyways, All right. Yeah. Thank you. That's really cool. So
Well, good. I'm glad you liked it because otherwise you would have ended up with it anyway.
that works.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm just going to touch on something real briefly here, if I may. For those of you listening at home, you're probably going to go, "You already talked about this," because it seems that way. Just the other day in North Copenhagen, Denmark, an artist was hosting an event called Art, Blasphemy, and the Freedom of Expression.
That actually sounds fun.
Of course. It's the artist Lars Vilks was a Swedish artist. He's been in hot water for a long time. Back in 2007, he posted some pictures of the Prophet Muhammad depicting him as a dog.
Okay.
Yeah. Swedes, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's pretty much been under constant police protection ever since because, as we know, Muslims can't take a joke.
Yeah, we've had that discussion.
Yes, we have. So, like the discussion we just fucking had, a man decided he's going to walk in there and start shooting.
All right. So, real quick, was this ISIS? Do we know?
Apparently he swore fealty to ISIS on his Facebook page last weekend. So, ISIS is not so much a group as it is an ideology. And ideologies can cross borders without going through checkpoints.
Yeah.
So that's the problem here is people are proclaiming themselves ISIS and then doing things which, as I said, it's an ideology more than it is an actual group. So yes, this guy, swore fealty to ISIS, but whether this was an ISIS plan to start with, we don't actually know. So this guy that swore fealty to ISIS showed up at the cafe and just opened fire into a crowd, wounding 5 and killing a Danish filmmaker. He then took off. They got his plate on CCTV, so they had a pretty good idea who the guy was. The guy went home, then called a taxi, took a taxi to a synagogue, and opened fire there, killing another man. Then he took the taxi back to his house. I don't know whether it was the same taxi, if it was a collateral style. Hey, wait here for a minute. But he took a taxi back to his house, got into a firefight with the police, and was then killed.
All right. So they caught the guy. Well, killed the guy.
Yeah, they caught him Viking style.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's dead. He must be really pissed off to find out that there's no virgins waiting for him.
So, yeah, going back to the taxi thing, do you think he actually looked at the guy and was like, "Hey, here's $20. Wait for me for a minute."
I have
And
no
anything
idea.
you hear, just block it out. So he goes in and he shoots up the place and leaves.
I don't know. All I know is that 2 people are dead and 5 people are wounded over an idea, over somebody's imaginary friend's honor. And we just did this.
Yeah.
We just did this, 2 weeks ago this happened. Over the same concept.
I don't remember exactly when we did this, but seriously, this is getting ridiculous at this point. You can't, and it's going to keep happening. And like you said, I didn't really think about it in this aspect of ISIS being an ideal as much as a group, because you keep hearing things like, "Oh, a local American went to Europe and joined ISIS, or went to Middle East and joined ISIS." You hear that all the time on the news at random, and then it's like, "Oh, they were never seen again." So the way the news portrays it is almost as if it's like Al Qaeda.
Here's the weird thing about it. ISIS was Al Qaeda.
Right.
ISIS was a faction of Al Qaeda that Al Qaeda cut ties with because they were too extreme.
Okay. So, okay.
If Al Qaeda's like, "Whoa, guys, rein it in a little bit," that's who we're dealing with here, and it's scary.
What are they doing that is enticing people elsewhere to join them if they're so extreme? I mean, is this one of those like a sociopath can probably make a schizophrenic follow them and their crazy ideals, or is this
It's
another religion thing?
based.
I know it's religion based. That's what I'm saying. This is another religion thing, though, that they're saying, hey, they're
They're a powerful group. They're doing things that a lot of people. I mean, it's one of the 3 largest religions in the world, and there are a lot of people who believe it. Same as people here just buy into Christianity or Catholicism. It's the one true thing. This is how it is, and they don't think about it. They're encouraged not to think about it. So when people show up and they make enough noise, and they're making headway. I mean, they've captured a lot of territory in the vacuum of American and NATO presence in the Middle East. They've gained a lot of territory, so they've got momentum behind them, and people are like, oh well, I'll go join them. These guys are. This is how it's going to be now. I don't know if part of it is they think they're going to win, or you just want to be on the winning side.
What are they gonna win though? I mean, it's not like it's
Their intention is to form an Islamic state, make their own country, have their own Sharia law. They're
But
executing
what good
people.
does this do up in Denmark? I mean, that's part of what I don't understand. I mean, I know this all goes down to you're insulting my leader, my God, my whatever. But what good does any of this do affecting something in a country that's so far away to help your, well, I don't know what the right word is, but let's just say terrorism at home.
I would have used the word cause.
Okay, cause
Quotes
at
around
home.
it. But this event was a terrorist event. It absolutely was. There's no logic to it. I mean, if you apply logic to a religion, the religion goes away. It can't stand up to it.
Yeah.
It vanishes when you turn the lights on. When you peek behind the curtain and see the old guy pulling the levers. And that's part of the idea that if you mock their religion, if you look at their religion critically, it collapses under the weight of its own stupidity. So that's why it's banned so fiercely. Criticism is to be shut down harshly and immediately. You've got this guy, the Saudi blogger, who's getting all those lashes. For speaking out. There was a guy recently created an atheist website, I believe also in Saudi Arabia. He's doing a year in prison. Dissent is not to be tolerated. So you get countries like Denmark and Norway and Sweden. The Scandinavian countries are very well known for their personal freedoms and their pride in such. Denmark, obviously, is the ones who posted the Muhammad with the bomb forbidden cartoon.
Yeah.
And they don't have any shame about it. Because they're, like me, any idea that, that no ideas should be free of criticism. And if the idea is strong, then the criticism's not going to affect it. But you're dealing with a religion here, where if you put logic to it, you put light to it, it's going to fail. Well, this is, I guess, a painful and expensive lesson about freedoms. And there's some irony in it that the event they were at was about the importance of free expression, and it's just a heavy punctuation on it that this is important, that it's not just an issue in the Middle East, it's an issue everywhere. It can hit you at home, and that it's important to to speak your mind and to criticize ideas that deserve criticism and that can't hold up to criticism.
This week's Close Enough podcast is brought to you by Clockwork Garage. Clocks, keychains, and more made from recycled auto parts. Visit aclockworkgarage.com.
Well, folks, it is movie review time.
Movie review time.
I just said that. As always, we will be spoiling this movie. So if you didn't watch Dead Snow, what the hell is wrong with you?
Spoilers.
We told you this was happening. This is not a surprise.
Spoilers.
For those of you who did watch Dead Snow, good job. Go get a cookie and then you can have a cookie. So we watched Dead Snow. Dead Snow is a Norwegian horror comedy that follows 8 medical students on a ski holiday in the mountains of Finnmark. Their vacation is cut short when undead Nazis rise to reclaim their stolen treasure. What did you think of Dead Snow, Mike?
Man, alright, first of all, it takes me a minute to really want to be able to watch and grasp anything with subtitles because I don't read that fast.
Okay.
So I gotta read, I gotta look, I'm going back and forth. This movie was fantastic, man. This movie was great. First of all, it was a zombie movie, so I was like, alright, I gotta at least watch it and enjoy it for the zombies. There was just some crazy ass humor going on in this movie, and a lot of things I definitely did not expect that would pop up. There was a few things here and there that made me want to go like, what who thought of that shit? But for the most part, honestly, I liked it, man. I liked it a lot. What about you?
I couldn't agree more. I don't have a problem with captions, mainly because I'm rather slightly hard of hearing, so I use captions anyway. And also a big anime fan, and everybody knows that you don't watch dubbed anime. Just you don't do that. You do it in Japanese with the subtitles.
Like you made me watch Initial D.
Well, if you watch Initial D in English, the characters are different. They change them. They Americanize them. Everybody in Initial D in English is a douchebag. But if you watch it in Japanese, it's a cultural thing.
Okay.
But sticking back with Dead Snow, there is an American dubbed English version of it.
I did not watch that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't watch it either. It's a completely separate version. I don't even know if it was an option on Netflix because I didn't check. I very much enjoy the Norwegian language. I think it's a beautiful language. But after a while, for me, I didn't even hear it. You know, even when I think back to them talking, I think their voices, but the
What's
subtitles,
coming out in American? Yeah, I did that about halfway through the movie. I was finally at that point.
But it just, to me, it was a fantastic film. And my reasoning for that is, it is just a hodgepodge of every zombie flick ever made, rolled into one, and unrepentant about it. But unlike, what was that shitty one we watched, Cabin in the Woods?
Oh, come on, man. That movie was not that bad at all.
Yeah, well, this one was able to pay homage to all kinds of zombie films without shoving it in your face, without being all like, hey, did you see how clever I was?
Okay.
It just did
Okay.
it. It threw the jokes at you, and if you got them, you got them, and if you didn't, you didn't. But
Yep.
it still worked.
I'd say I got the jokes.
I mean, some of them were subtle that even I wanted to pick up on. I can't remember the name of the film, but the fat guy is where the movie buff.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
He was, I wouldn't say my favorite character, but he was definitely, like, when the movie started, man, I started paying attention to him right away because he had that kind of comic relief aspect to it.
Well, he was wearing he was the movie buff, and he was wearing a T-shirt for a zombie film. It's like I said, they're not all in your face about it, and I didn't notice it was pointed out to me, but I can't even remember. Brain Dead, I think, was the name of the film.
Brain Dead? Oh, that's a good flick.
You seen it?
I have seen that, actually.
Okay, well, you noticed the way he died was
Yeah.
exactly the way the first person dies in that movie.
Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
No, that first I noticed. Okay.
See,
Okay.
I didn't notice. Well, I don't know the film, but that's what I'm talking about. They're paying homage to all of these films without shoving it in your face. Where if you get it, it's like an in joke, and you're like, it's cute. But if you don't get it, you don't miss anything.
One part I didn't quite get is when the creepy guy leaves the cabin and he's in his tent.
Yeah.
And then when he gets killed, you see somebody like slashing at him down.
Yeah.
And then you see him, his throat was already cut, so he was kind of leaning up trying to keep his throat closed. But it took me a minute I couldn't figure out, like, is that a zombie that's actually stabbing him? Because these were not your normal zombies you find out later in the movie.
They aren't actually zombies at all. They're more like the Norwegian drow, which are I can't remember the actual word for them, but it translates to again walkers.
So they were never really dead. They were. Is it kind of like being frozen and then thawed out?
They're undead. They're certainly undead, but they maintain a higher level of functionality, and they would often inhabit tombs, and they would jealously guard treasures.
Interesting.
Which is, and that's part of Norwegian culture. Every Scandinavian country has similar legends of these. So they're not traditional zombies, and that's why you see them using tools, using weapons. The leader uses binoculars at one point.
Mm-hmm.
They have higher level brain functions.
That was actually something I was going to bring up. I'm glad you said that, because I didn't know about that at all. I was trying to figure that out. I'm like, okay, they come up and just that's all you hear, grunts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I mean, You see a guy walking around with a hatchet. The one guy picks the axe up. The guy's using the binoculars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can figure things out that most any other zombie movie, they, blows right past them.
So, I mean, to me, it was a nice change on the zombie flick. One of the other things I noticed about this is one of only 2 zombie movies I've ever seen, and I've seen quite a few, where the people see them and know what zombies are.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't think of that immediately, but a lot of times, well, shit, man, I haven't seen quite a few. I've seen freaking hundreds, zombie movies. Yeah, that most of the time, be like,
holy crap! What is that? The only other film I've ever seen where they knew what a zombie was Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, yeah.
Don't use the Z word.
Yeah. Just about every other movie was every other zombie movie. They run off and what are they? What's going on? Why are they acting like this? I can't understand why somebody tried to bite me. I mean, all this crazy shit. It's like, okay, at this point in time, if they're going, and they run after you and they try to bite you, you think it's a fucking zombie.
I know what a zombie is, and zombies don't exist. So it's just,
even in the chemical-born zombie movies, you know what I mean by that.
You talking like
28 weeks later, 20 days later.
28 days, 28 weeks.
There's actually a good
Evil,
handful. Yeah, Resident Evil's chemical-born. Something like that. There's still... They're zombies, but there's usually different aspects to it because it causes
the 28 are rage infected. But that was one thing that stood out in this film.
Can you actually explain what caused them to be undead and to cause this whole protection of their treasure or whatever it is?
Can I?
I mean, do you know the story?
No.
Okay.
I don't know the story.
That much I don't know.
Just what the old guy says. No, they don't actually say in the film why. Just that they were the particular Nazi group that was occupying that area, which is true. That did happen.
Yeah.
And they did pillage the place. That was something the Nazis really did as they were getting pushed out of places. Is they would steal everything they could. I mean, they're still finding stolen Nazi treasure today. But the Drow are known for jealously guarding treasures, so I would just assume that, and that was their drive. They wanted that one little box of crap that's been sitting in a storage unit for 50, 60 years that no one's managed to notice. 70 years. Hey, that big box of gold down there. Oh, that's a cigar humidor. Don't worry about that.
Well, give me a cigar.
Pass. I don't know. I like the part where they're like, oh, we should keep it. It's like, yeah, this isn't your house. This is your friend's house. Yeah. You don't just get to steal everything you find. I mean, there were some flaws in the movie, but I don't think there was anything so glaring that really pissed me off. So I just took everything in stride. Tried to grain of salt it. It's just a movie. It's in the script,
The only thing that really bothered me was the one chick that kept running away with the dreads. She hid in the tree. Huh?
Predator?
Sure. Yeah, the one with the dreads that hid in the tree. Yeah, talking to the birds and shit. Like every scene they showed her, she something would be right there. Next scene, she's like fucking half a mile away from something. Like they kept showing her running, and it drove me insane. The other blonde girl gets caught like that. I mean, she's still going. It took a while for her to die, but
I love the way she died.
Yeah, I was
potato masher.
That was great.
Did you learn?
But that was one of the few things that drove me nuts. Every time they showed her, she was somehow still getting away. So I was like, okay, come on. I mean, if nobody else can outrun them, why the fuck can this chick all of a sudden outrun them? One of my favorite things in the movie, though, the hottest chick in the entire movie goes after the dopiest dude and starts fucking him right after he took a shit. He was wiping his ass, and she takes his hand and fucking starts sucking his fingers, and he even says, "You don't want to do that." She still does that.
Yeah, the blumpkin scene was just one of those. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't think if I'm sitting on a toilet taking a shit and somebody tried to jump in my lap, first of all, the smell would ruin it.
Well, I mean, it's a frozen outhouse, so it wouldn't be that bad.
That's a good point. But either way, I mean, she's following that guy. But
What kind of outhouse has a heart on the door? Don't they all have little half moons?
well, I guess that's better than penis-shaped owls. Fucking cock and balls hanging out right there. Like, what are you looking through? Yeah, it's cock and balls.
I would do a cock and ball door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had an outhouse,
two of them, a cock and ball, and over here a vag.
what's that flower that looks like a vagina? Oh, I can't think of it.
All right, well, I guess I have to go to the internet and do one of those risky searches.
Like that's ever stopped you before.
5 flowers that look like vaginas. I need to be alone for a few minutes.
Why? Because you found a lot of flowers that look like vaginas.
Yep. Oh, the internet. The world is spoiled by the internet.
It is. When we were kids, the best thing you could do is jerk off to the lingerie portion of the Sears catalog.
Are you kidding? National Geographic.
I never had that.
I had Hot Rod, and Hot Rod used to come with a sponsored issue.
Oh, Hot Rod. Is...
Back on topic.
Yes. Anyway, sorry.
Back to the Blumpkin.
Great.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Real quick. Sorry.
No,
Back to something you said originally. Great death. That was by far the best death of the whole movie.
What, getting his skull torn in half?
Oh, dude, he's just ripped up. Shit falls on the floor. Ah! What the hell is that? It's fucking brain. You guys, fucking surgeons and med students are in there, and oh god, dude, the guy that's scared of blood. That's
no. Okay, so the guy scared of blood.
I'm sorry, that drove me insane. How could you even enter med school if you're scared of blood?
I don't know, but he lasted the longest.
That's the weirdest, sad part.
He grew the most as a character.
Yeah, he was the most annoying character, though.
My thing, when the old guy shows up, oh, you're all med school students, eh? Well, do you know what to do if someone's intestines are out? Yes, we're med school students. That's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
It's sort of our thing.
I love the fact that he's just like, or how's the coffee? Oh, it sucks. And he just takes a beer, doesn't say a word, pops that shit off, starts drinking their fucking beer.
I liked him.
That was great.
I liked him. The problem I had with it was then he's like, it's dangerous to be out here. It's a terrible place.
And he's camping.
I'll be in a tent.
Yes. That was the first thing I said. The second they showed him in a tent, I'm like...
That's what I was talking about.
We were both talking
big
about
plot
it.
holes that are just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That was a plot hole right there.
Yeah, let it go.
The only thing that I was able to let it go with is, okay, maybe because he's a local, like he knows where to go to avoid the whole thing. I don't know. I never figured that part out.
I just think he needed to be there because it's one of those...
You have to have that creepy...
You gotta have the guy warning. You get to set the story. It's a narrative. It's a plot device. It's a horror genre cliche.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it just had to be there.
Here's the issue I had. So they have one snowmobile for 7 people.
Mm-hmm.
They have to park their vehicles. They can't drive those anywhere closer.
Yeah.
Everybody gets out, and he's like, "Oh, follow my tracks to the cabin, and we'll be good. It'll take about 45 minutes for you guys." He's hitting hills, he's jumping tracks, and I mean, he's going everywhere. He gets there, goes in, starts the fire, everything's great. Everybody shows up, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, it's nice and warm," but he hadn't gone inside, stupid thing. But he goes off later, says the same thing, follow the tracks back to the car.
Mm-hmm.
It had snowed that night.
Yes, it had.
There's no way they would have been able to follow the tracks back to the car.
And they didn't.
Well,
they went looking,
attempted.
They got lost.
Yeah, they attempted. But what made him think that, oh yeah, you can just, the tracks I made the night before, everything's fine. Just follow it back.
I don't know, man. I want to know why the Nazis weren't using guns.
But yeah, he found a machine gun.
Mm-hmm. He found guns. He found ammo.
Yeah. Maybe they weren't quite that smart.
I don't know. They all had bayonets. All right, tell me what you thought of the worst throw ever of all time. The Molotov cocktail.
That was fantastic, dude.
I loved it. I loved the low key, like, okay, cabin's on fire. What do we do? Oh, let's call for help. And they hang up on him.
That was fantastic because that reminded me of something that would happen in real life, if you try to call, hey, my cabin's on fire and I'm being chased by Nazi zombies, 911's gonna hang up on your ass.
They're like, yeah, this is for serious. That was another thing that kind of bugged me is on the way in, they're like, no cell service. Well, this is how movies start.
Oh, they kept bringing that up over and over too.
What's that? That
That-
they didn't
the-
have cell
the
service?
whole,
Or that's how
like-
movies start.
That whole like trip on the way to the cabin,
Mm-hmm.
talking about the whole no cell, no cell, no cell.
And then he
But-
whips the cell out and it works. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
And then the battery's dead.
Mhm.
Fucking Nokias. Really? Nokias are known for being the most solid phones on Earth.
Here's another plot hole I noticed though.
Oh, yeah?
When they were in the car, it was guys in one car, girls in another car, right?
Sure.
The guys in the beginning were talking about what happens if you get stuck in an avalanche. Oh, you drool or you spit, and you see which way it goes, and that's down, right?
Yeah.
The girl got trapped in the avalanche, and her nose started running, and it
Mhm.
went down. She wasn't the one in the car. They made
Yeah,
the
because
conversation.
your nose only runs if people talked about it earlier in the day. What's your point?
My point is what I was saying is that she was not in the car,
Okay.
and that's not really a common thing to think of if you're in that situation.
Well, I mean, she didn't make her nose run on purpose. It was
No.
not like she was using knowledge she didn't already have.
No, but if your nose, I mean, I guess the way I saw it is they tried to portray it like she was part of the conversation, but she wasn't.
That one didn't bug me very much. I mean, I knew it was gonna come into that.
Oh, of course.
I know you're a big gore fan, a big
Yeah.
blood fan. I
Very much so.
I can take it or leave it. I will say I was fairly squeamish though when the main kid with the snow sled gets his neck bit.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
sews it shut with a fish hook.
The part that bothers me is a fish hook has the jagged piece that comes out the other side.
Yeah.
So that would just make every incision bigger coming out.
Yeah, I didn't notice that because I was busy kind of squinting at it, going, "Is it over yet? Is it over yet?"
That bugged you?
Yeah.
That was great. The whole thing. And then he like almost chokes himself with the
Duct tape.
the duct tape.
If you had duct tape, why are you sewing it shut? Just slap some tape on it, you'd be fine.
Yeah. What about the guy cuts his arm off because he got bit, and then a little bit later he gets his fucking balls
I love when he looks
Maimed.
back at the
maimed. He just gets his balls maimed, and yeah, and he's just like, okay, well, fuck it. At this point, I'm just gonna keep going.
Well,
I
I love it because he's like, "Oh, I gotta cut my arm off. Gotta get that." That's the guy who's squeamish too.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the morning he couldn't look at blood. In the afternoon he's sawing his own arm off with a chainsaw.
everybody's blood is on him at that point
He's
too.
grown a lot, but I enjoyed that because he saws his arm off and it's like, "Oh, I made it. Yeah, okay." That he cauterizes the wound and it gets
Mhm.
bit in the crotch and he just kind of looks over at the chainsaw and whimpers.
But he doesn't cut his junk off.
No, he doesn't because
That would just be sad.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know
you
that I could
couldn't-
watch that.
No.
A guy slowly carving himself up with a
It just-
chainsaw.
whew.
But I loved that whole fight scene. With the two guys, they go out to the shed and they load up with all the chainsaw and they go off to fight off all the Nazis.
And the sickle and the hammer and the axe.
Did you
and-
notice when he did the hammer circle cross thing?
Yeah, I noticed.
I noticed it. I was watching it with my lady friend, and she didn't notice. She wanted to know why I was cackling. I had to go back and show it to her. It's one of those things, like, it's if you notice it, it's like, wow, that's awesome. And if you don't notice it, you don't lose anything.
Yeah.
But I loved it, and then the freaking Nazis' reaction. Oh, freaking Bolsheviks. Yarr.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy that. I
The-
enjoyed the whole fight scene. It was a nice, gory yet silly climax to the whole thing.
I loved, as stupid as it sounds, I don't know why. They kill almost all the zombies, and all you got left is the general, the colonel.
I don't know what he was.
Anyways, he just
Major, perhaps.
the whole ground shakes, and there's just fucking thousands just come back up out of the ground. That was one of the, to me, that was like watching that, I was like,
Well, there should only have been 300 of them. That's what the
What?
old guy said.
total?
Yeah, he said there were 300 soldiers versus that's how many Nazis went up into the mountain.
I must have misread it. I thought he said 3,000.
Either way, I thought it was 300. Well, all in all, I thought that the movie's drawbacks were way overshadowed by the sheer fun of this film. I'm glad that we got to watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
And, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this one up high. I'm gonna call it an 8 because I was very pleased with it, start to finish.
Seriously, you're going 8?
Going 8.
That's exactly what I'm giving it.
An unanimous decision, 8.
That is, if you haven't seen this yet, you'll listen to some spoilers, you ruined your life. But this movie is worth watching. This is a great fucking movie.
I'll tell you what, man. I don't know if you saw. When it finished up, it's you should watch now. The second one's on there.
Oh, we're going to have to do that soon.
Looks like a Nazi-Soviet clash. I'm not even waiting for it to be suggested. I'm watching that this week.
That sounds about right.
That is going to be... I can't wait.
No, this is good.
So if you haven't seen it, what the hell are you listening to this for? We just spoiled the whole thing for you. But watch it anyway. Now let's drag the trash can over here and see what we're drawing next week. Okay, next week we're going to be watching In the Name of the King.
Fuck you.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Mike. Fuck you, whoever suggested that. We're not. Fuck that. Mike, it's your birthday. Pick a movie.
Alright, let's see then. There's a lot of movies I would love to do. I think You're Next is on Netflix.
Let's take a quick look. Yep. Yep, it is.
Alright, that sounds like the movie we're doing. Next.
You're Next.
Exactly.
You're Next is next. So go ahead, pull up Netflix, queue up You're Next, give it a watch, and come back here next week to see what we thought of it. Go ahead and send us your opinion of it as well. If we like it, we'll read it on the air.
So Jay, you know what time it is? No, don't fucking give me the time thing again. That joke's played out. It's quiz time.
Quiz time?
Yeah.
Alright. So is this quiz going to be on different types of snow?
No.
You missed your chance.
My chance?
Yeah, you should have done it on types of snow.
Why?
Avalanche survival.
Why?
Because I don't know anything about it. What did you do?
Well, this quiz is called Night of the Living Dead.
That's a movie, isn't it?
Oh shit, yeah, actually it's one of the best movies of all time. No, fuck. Alright, this quiz is shit about zombie movies, James, but probably won't know.
I like that you put probably in there. Shows you're confident.
Well, I was confident, but we'll go from there.
We'll see what happens.
Alright, are you ready for this?
Yep.
Question 1. Widely considered the first zombie movie, White Zombie, starred which of the following famous actors? Vincent Price, Bela Lugosi, or Boris Karloff?
Lugosi?
No, that is Boris Karloff.
Oh, he was Frankenstein's monster, wasn't he?
Karloff did a lot of things. He also did The Mummy. He did Wolfman. I mean, he was the man of many faces, they always called him. All right, we've got question 2. The game variation called Nazi Zombies is part of what popular first-person shooter?
Medal of Duty. Call of Honor.
Is that your answer?
It's both my answers. It was Call of Duty, wasn't it?
It was. Yep, correct.
Spunk Gargle Wee Wee.
All right, which director worked with Bruce Campbell in creating Evil Dead?
Sam Raimi.
Good job. What horror movies were mentioned in Dead Snow? Now, this one is actually a 4-point possibility, because there was 4 movies mentioned.
Terminator.
Horror movies.
Terminator could be a horror movie.
Terminator's not a horror movie.
It was mentioned.
It's not a horror movie.
Did they do Friday the 13th?
Yes.
Evil Dead?
Yes.
Night of the Living Dead?
No.
What else you got written on that page over there?
You're not going to read it.
I don't know of any others.
Evil Dead 2 and April Fool's Day.
Oh, fuck, because they did mention it, and then, it's just a remake of the first one.
Yep.
Likely considered to be a remake of the first one.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I just considered it to be a remake of the first one, and therefore the same film.
It's not.
3 points, bitch.
No, it's not. If you actually watch the 2, which are some of my favorite movies, some people say it's a remake. In a way it is, but it's not at all. It's 2 totally different films. The second was much more comedic, especially.
Yeah, I think they tried to make a serious movie the first time around, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's so funny," and they were like, "Yeah, it's funny. We meant to do that."
Kind of. You know, well, it was all low budget, so he really had nothing to work with. All right, question 5. What movie is considered the bloodiest of all time, as in the amount of blood that was used during filming? I've got options for you. Day of the Dead, Zombie Strippers, or Dead Alive?
I'm gonna go with Dead Alive.
That's correct. Have you ever seen Dead Alive?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, so it was just a guess.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
You know how I feel about horror movies.
I do, but they're zombie movies, so thought you might know a little bit, but no.
Survival horror.
All right. What movie is the first movie to portray resurrected zombies as fast moving? Do you want a hint?
Runners, huh? Resurrected zombies.
Yes, because there's chemical zombies and resurrected zombies.
Fast-running resurrected zombies. Wasn't that, It's on my shelf here, I think. The new Dawn of the Dead, the remake, wasn't it?
That was exactly correct. Okay. Yes. You're doing better than I thought you would, actually.
Trying to get me with the 28 days, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit. That was actually, I was going to say the 20 days later was going to be an option if you wanted a hint. I really wish I didn't ask this question because you already answered it, but...
Is it the Drow? The Drow?
No.
Oh, no.
The virus that begets zombies in 28 days later is called what?
Rage.
Yeah. See? Alright, we got question 8. In Zombieland, where is it that Little Rock and Wichita are heading? Those are the two girls.
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay.
This is purely a guess. It's been so long since I've seen it, but is it Atlanta?
No.
No?
That is Pacific Playland. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm trying to go to Pacific Playland because they hear there are no zombies there. Alright, number 9. In Shaun of the Dead, what was the name of Shaun's favorite pub?
The Winchester.
Alright. I made this quiz a little too easy.
Okay with that.
Alright, now, question 10. Last question. Name as many movies as you can with Nazi zombies.
Dead Snow. Dead Snow 2. Nazi zombies. To be completely honest, I can't think of any.
I do have a small list if you're curious.
Nope, can't think of any others. I know they're out there, but I can't think of any titles.
Yeah, there's a handful out there. Just to name a few, I've got Zombie Lake, Shockwaves, Oasis of the Zombies, Worst Case Scenario.
I've never heard of any of these.
Outpost.
Nope.
Horror of War.
Nope.
Blood Creek.
Nope.
Great movie, by the way. Blood Creek, freaking great.
Never heard of a single one of these.
We gotta watch that at some point. And Frankenstein's Army were just a few more that I wrote down.
Nope, never seen or heard of any of those. I knew they were out there. See, the thing is, Nazis are just the universal bad guy. You can kill 1 million Nazis and nobody's gonna give a shit. I'm serious. They're one of the only groups that is just wholly considered evil. That nobody cares. You know, it's like you make a movie, you make North Korea the bad guys, and people are like, "Oh, that's racist." People were saying that the fucking Interview was a racist movie. It's like, yeah, they're also assholes. But, you know, nobody comes to Nazis' defense. It's like white trash. It's the only racial slur that anybody's okay with.
Cracker.
No, nobody defends white trash. I think it was Louis C.K. said that. I saw this guy who was totally white trash and the most liberal hippie in the world. Fuck that guy.
All right, so
How'd I do?
Well, you had out of possible 22 points, you got 8, which still...
That's bullshit. It's 10 questions, dude.
Yeah.
10 points.
I gave you possible... Come on, man. You gave me a quiz that was possible 15 the other day.
No, I didn't.
Or 14, something like that, yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Name as many, blah, blah, blah. Come on, I'm trying to give you leeway to get more points.
No, you're not. You're reducing my score.
How is that making
Because instead of 8 out of 10, it's 8 out of 22.
Mm-hmm.
That's a smaller number.
Well, one question was worth 4 points by itself. Name the movies that were mentioned in Dead Snow. You got 2 of them. That was 4. So that right there is 2.
You're trying to beat me with math. With funny math. You're like fairtax.org.
I wish I was that smart.
They're not smart. They're really not smart.
No, but they make money. I don't.
You're using funny math.
So you got 8 out of 22 possible points.
Yeah. That makes it less than 5. That's a 4.5 out of 10.
Okay. Either way, you still did better than either of us have done in a few weeks. How do you feel about yourself on that?
Dicking me around with funny math.
All right, next time I'll give you a better quiz, better horror quiz.
Who knows what the next quiz will be on?
Well, I'm assuming something to do with horror because the next movie is going to be horror.
Yeah, I may just give you a fucking quiz on dry cleaning techniques.
So you just want me to fail anyway?
Yes! Yes, that's the point of the thing. It's to make you look stupid in front of our dozen of listeners.
Or half dozen? Oh.
Alright, well, those are things that I know. What do you know, Mike?
Well, I actually do not have news this week. On my birthday, I talked to my parents, as I always try to do, and I got some really weird news in regards to, when you're a kid, you've got those specific childhood friends you always play with in that neighborhood.
Sure.
Well, I found out what's going on with my 2 best friends from that era of my life, and it was kind of off-putting to hear, especially because I was already half drunk and I was waiting for Chinese food to show up at the hotel door.
Sounds like a grand old time.
Yeah. So I'm talking to my mom, and I was asking her as far as, just what else is going on, because she didn't want to get off the phone with me. And she started telling me about my 2 childhood friends that I grew up with for the majority of my life.
Sure.
And one of them was doing really well. The last I had heard, the other one not so well. But the whole thing just kind of ended up in this almost depressing manner, and it really threw me off. The younger of the 2 apparently started at one point making meth. I mean, getting himself into all sorts of drugs. He actually set his mom's house on fire making meth in the bathroom with kids in the house. He has gotten 2 different girls pregnant, one of which he has 2 kids with, and she just got out of prison.
Okay.
Now, real quick to backtrack, the mom is actually schizophrenic as well. So she's got to take care of meds and has other health issues.
Well, I know what it's like to live with a schizophrenic mother.
So she's now taking care of the 2 grandkids. The other girl that he apparently got pregnant and has a kid with, her mom doesn't want him to have anything to do with their life or even know who he is. She actually made her take his name off the birth certificate for the kid. Well, I mean, that doesn't surprise me too much because I knew about how he was back in the late teens. He was, he was getting into drugs and stuff.
Sure.
Well, I found out at this point he is so fried, he can't really function. He can't put sentences together. He can't, he's just out of it. And I was just like, man, that's thinking back and then, going through stories. I was like, wow, that sucks. Now, his older brother, though, is apparently now taking care of him.
Okay. His
older brother spent, I don't remember if it was 10 or 12 years in the Air Force. Got out, went into the police academy.
So he went the other way.
He went the other way, yeah. Very good life, taking care of himself. He got out of the Air Force, went into, he became a police officer.
Right.
And he actually got accepted into the Secret Service, which is one of his goals in life.
Okay.
And he was doing really well. Well, apparently a couple months ago, when arresting a dumb, drugged-out idiot, popped his entire right side out of socket. His arm, everything is just shot. Okay. So he pretty much ended up going to the hospital. He has now lost his entire spot going to the Secret Service. Everything that was going good for him is shot, and now he's on disability taking care of his almost burnt out, mentally challenged younger brother, which is just, I mean, this is really, really depressing. I apologize. But this was something that really just threw me off. I'm sitting here, I was having a good time, getting away from, the city life for my birthday, and all this just got thrown in my face. And, I mean, we all know people that end up in jail that we grew up with, or that end up hooked up on drugs, or...
Oh, it's been probably, coming up on 10, 15 years since I've been out of high school. I sat down with some of my friends and started running down the list of, where's this guy, where's that guy, where's this guy. And I'm from a small town. Are you from a
very
fairly small town?
Yeah.
I think I've noticed about small towns is there ain't a lot to do.
Mm-hmm.
So you do a lot of doing drugs and getting in trouble.
I don't get me wrong. I did tons of that when I was younger.
But you grew out of it.
I grew out of it. Exactly. I mean,
some people don't get the opportunity to grow out of it. Going down the list of people I went to school with, there's a lot of dead or in jails. The rest of them are libertarians.
Libertarians?
Yeah.
That's a random...
So of the three choices, dead, in jail, or libertarian, that's the worst of the bunch.
See, I came up with, running through lists of people is, let's see, number 1 was pregnant or has kids. Number 2 was dead or in jail, and number 3 was, I don't know, I haven't heard from that person in God knows how long. I'd almost take the dead or in jail over the having kids thing, but...
I don't know, it just seems like time's the great equalizer.
When I thought about it, I started thinking about different decades and the way that things went.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Do you mean in general or for you specifically?
Well, in general.
Okay.
And, I mean, before our generation, I don't think it was like that much. You didn't have that many people that were like, okay, so-and-so's in jail, so-and-so's good. The drug problem, this and this happened. I mean, you still have your handfuls of burnouts and disappearances and, criminals, but it definitely was nowhere near as abundant as it is now. At least from what I can tell, a generation. So, baby boomers, like our parents were, and then going into us, we're the end of Generation X, and then you got Generation Z, and then now you got the millennials. And it just made me think a lot about that shit. Is, where I work is a very public, communicative place, and I even look at the way that parents let their kids dress now. There was no fucking way when we were kids that parents let their kids walk out of the house dressed like that. And just those little things I think about, like, influence the mannerisms of everything that's going on. Real quick, one news story, quote unquote, that I just read about: Jinkos are coming back. You saw that? I remember that shit, man. From forever. I worked at 2 different stores that carried Jinkos.
Jinkos. Pants you could wear with both legs and one leg.
But your waist only fit in one side. Dude, that shit was crazy. I remember those Jinkos. There was Menace. There was a few other brands that carried those things. Talk about styles coming back around,
I never got into that. I've been wearing BDUs for 15 years.
Yeah. I had probably about 3 years of Jinkos, and that is kind of went to regular fucking...
Pants.
Yeah.
What are you wearing? Pants and a shirt.
What brand are those pants? Dickies. That's about what I got.
Salvation Army.
Not so I'm not trying to be too depressing as far as that goes, but it made me think a lot about getting old, but the differences of generations, and if that's where we both look back with people we grew up with, and that's where we see them now, what the fuck is going to happen with these kids that are 17 when they're our age? I mean, is it going to be more people in jail, more people on drugs? Is it going to be new drugs that no one's ever heard of? I mean, is it going to be like a 75% rape pregnancy?
Well, I mean, the whole world works on a pendulum. It's going to get worse, then it's going to get better, then it's going to get worse again.
Oh, you mean like gas prices got great for about a week and then they went back up?
Oh, I was buying trash bags full of gas, man. I'm just like, under $1. Filling every bottle in the car.
I could just see you walking off with it. trash bag. Put it in your trunk. God damn it, it broke.
Oh, I couldn't even afford it, but I'm like, I'm filling a fucking car. It's up to $240 now. I put gas in today, but
No, but that whole just below $2 thing. What did that? Seriously, that lasted a week and a half, 2 weeks.
you know what? I'm not gonna cry that it's back up to $250. I don't care. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice to have it under $2 again.
That little break for it was like a tease. It's like going to a strip club where they don't get full nude. It's no point
It is better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all.
to love the price of gas.
Yeah, it's one of those things that people say.
Oh,
Like I said, it was nice to fill the car for $30.
okay. All right, we'll go with that.
I went in. I'm like, I'm gonna get 40 on number 10 out there, and I came back and I'm like, can I have my change?
Got excited about that.
Never
Yeah,
thought that would happen again. Topped off my fucking Buick for $32.
it'll be another 8 years before we see them. They're like, oh, you know what? Let's give them a little break again. But I mean, shit, right there. I remember, hell, in high school, I don't even think it was over $1 yet when I was graduating high school.
Lowest I've ever seen, 88 cents.
Yeah, I remember. I want to say like 79 cents when I was a kid. I remember seeing that.
Well,
But
I know it's your birthday and all, but I don't think we're old enough to sit back and complain about kids these days yet.
no.
No,
Wait, what age? Because little kids, I can't stand them.
I can't stand little kids. I couldn't stand little kids when I was a little kid.
Okay. As long as we're on the same level as that
When
one.
I was your age, we didn't have Napster. If you wanted to steal music, you had to go to the store and shoplift it yourself.
Shove it up your ass.
You had to wait till Saturday for cartoons.
Yeah,
If
dude.
you wanted to change the channel, you had to walk over to the TV.
All right, right there, though. Saturday cartoons. What the fuck happened? Saturday cartoons were like the best shit in the world.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
They just seemed like the best because that's what there was.
Yeah, but we had Ninja Turtles and X-Men and
Captain Simeon,
Spider-Man
the Space Monkeys.
and I mean, after school cartoons, I had Batman every day. That was fantastic. That was the best shit. But you had Animaniacs. Come on. Tiny Toons.
Yeah.
All that shit. What happened to cartoons now? They suck.
Well, I mean, the real question is do they suck or have your tastes changed? Everybody's going to look back at what they grew up with as the correct thing.
Mm.
And, you know, I find myself kids these days and I was actually thinking about it. I was like, what happened? What's going to happen when I get to the point? Because I see old people trying to figure out the credit card machines at work.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what's going to happen to me? I mean, am I going to keep up with technology or am I going to someday be, you know, frightened and lost in this world where, you know, there's a new technology and I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to have any part of it. What I've got's just fine. What's it going to be like when I'm that age? And then I realized that I still have a slider phone and I don't want a smartphone. So I'm already at that age. That's already happened.
It took me a long time for somebody to boot me out of the slider phone and to get me a smartphone. I didn't want one, but I got almost forced into it.
I don't want something that's 10 inches across and has a smash me flat screen on it.
It's really not as bad as it seems. It took me a while. I still don't know how to use the fucker, but I have one. Apparently, we're still recording on old-ass technology right here.
It works.
It does. Well, for those of you that are listening.
Nobody's listening. We're just recording this and I just delete these when we're done.
Asshole. So yeah, that was just a random thought. I had a lot of that going on my birthday. I kind of almost, I don't want to say froze up, but it, you know, it hit me thinking about childhood and where people are. It was the weirdest thing to have brought up on my birthday to me, I guess. And I just kind of wanted to share that in an awkward sense.
Just get it off your chest, I suppose.
Yeah, a little bit.
This is my problem. Now it's your problem. This week's episode of Close Enough Podcast is brought to you by A Clockwork Garage. Clocks, keychains, and more made from recycled auto parts. Visit www.aclockworkgarage.com. Our audio technician is Jessica Habanero. We want to hear from you. Send your questions, comics. God damn it.
Please send your comics. I want them all.
Send your questions, comics, recipes for bunt cakes, and winter driving tips to closeenoughradio@gmail.com or visit our Facebook fan page at Close Enough Radio. Now over to Mike to beg for bands.
Yeah, this week, I don't have a local band, so if you know of a band that would like to get some promotion, or shit, man, just give me a fucking band, alright? That's all we want. We want some bands, we want some movies, we want you to talk to us, email us.
Seriously, though, if you're in a band, or you know someone who's in a band, or you know of a band, have them send us information. We'll feature you on the show.